Welcome into another edition of the Gator Nation Football Podcast film review. I'm James DiVirgilio, and on this episode, we'll take a look at Florida's offense versus Texas A&M. The Gators got off to a hot start in this one before cooling way off and essentially not scoring any points for the rest of the game and winding up with a very Billy Napier-like 17 points. I'm going to take a look at a few of the plays that contributed to that 17-point total. As always, the entire film review does now live on Patreon, where $15 a month does get you full access to both the offensive and defensive film breakdowns each and every week for the entire 2025 season. The link is in the description. With that being said, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting the channel, and I hope you enjoy this video as much as one can enjoy yet another Billy Napier-like vintage performance on the road. First down and 10, first play of the game for Florida on the road. A&M expecting Florida probably to run here. They're going to come into the box aggressively, as we're going to see him do on this film review from time to time. Bring the strong safety into the box, get 7 in the run fit here instead of just 6, and be able to aggressively play Florida's outside zone runs, especially with, again, Florida favoring a lot of pulling of their tight end. Florida's going to counter this pretty nicely here and cause a coverage bust top of your screen here. From A&M, we're going to pull, just like they think. Here's the action, right? Here's Hansen, something they've seen him do a million times. We're going to act like we're going to block here, bring the strong safety into the box in the run fit. They're going to run off here, right? And then hope that as we send our second receiver here into the pattern, he drops back to cover that, leaving Hansen wide open here. And Florida gets exactly that. There it is. He's going to drop back now, eyes on the opposing number 2, coming from this side on the over. He wants to get depth and get underneath that. Totally ignoring Hansen because it looked like to him Hansen was blocking. So let's look at this again. He IDs this coming in thinking, okay, Hansen stayed in, play action. I'm going to help drop underneath this. Right, he voids his responsibility. And this leads to something we don't get to see too often on Florida film review. We get to see here a totally wide open receiver with lots of room in front of him and a very easy throw from a clean pocket. That's great. That's a great start from the Gators and a scripted start from Florida. Huge chunk play. Again, a rarity for the Gators, a 20-plus yard passing play. Off to a good start here in the beginning. Second and goal now from the 1. Florida did a nice job throwing a few underneath passes to their wide receivers, something we had showed on film review last week. They get 2 of those plays here and advance the ball down to the 1-yard line here. Second down and goal. And Amir Jackson, a 4-star tight end recruit for the Gators that we have not seen a lot of, is in on this play. Of course, Florida was really just down to Hansen in this game with Livingston being out. So Amir's going to have a nice catch on this play. Going to put the H-back in the backfield, 12 personnel. Again, something Florida runs all the time, right? Let's bring him around. It's going to block here on the edge. Tough to cover. Here's your fake. Pull the linebackers in. He's going to be in your pass fit here. And now let's see if they are going to leave the tight end, right? One of the most classic plays you can run in football at all levels. Instant win. He's here. He's looking backwards. He is not even remotely covering him right now. He's on Trey. And everything you want is available, right? There you go. This is great. Look, this is what you want to see, right? This is what you want to see. That's a play called a worked anatomy of a good play, if you will. And that is exactly what this looks like. A wide open touchdown. Of course, you still have to throw it around your guy, but you got tons of space to do so here. And that is why he's going to have to make a tougher catch. It's a great catch. Look, this is a great catch, right? Don't take it for granted. He's got tons of grass there. He's got to wind up making a very athletic catch there, which he does. And Florida with a really sensational opening drive. Staying on schedule, moving the ball both on the ground and through the air, and getting in the end zone on second down. Starting off 7-0 here at Kyle Field. Next drive now, 3rd down and 10, a much more Billy Napier-like down and distance, especially on the road. Florida finds himself in 3rd and 8 or longer just so many times in each one of these film reviews. It's really hard to be successful in that situation. It's extra hard when your tendency is to hand the ball off or run east-west screens, especially when teams know you're going to do it. When I did the Ole Miss review on our bye week, we had shown a play Ole Miss ran that really faked out LSU very nicely. They all looked to the sideline. It felt like they were getting instructions when in reality they were actually running a trick play, if you will. Not actually a trick with regards to the routes, but they were catching LSU off guard. This is Florida's version of this, except it doesn't make nearly as much sense given the routes that you're running. So we showed you earlier that Florida faked this same look. It was going to be a screen, right? fake this same look. Well, now Trey's back here in the screener position, and we're actually going to run that exact screen we already ran earlier when we saw that A&M was ready to blow it up. We're going to run it again here. And so Florida is faking that there is actually something unknown here. And you can see what Lagway is going to do, just in case you missed it. He's going to point to his helmet a couple times. There's some conversation going on right here. He's kind of casual. Take a look what's going on over here. We've got this side kind of chilling. The offensive line is actually standing up right now. And again, if you didn't catch this, Florida looks entirely unset, right? They are set. Feet are on the line. We're good to go. But they are trying to feint that they are not ready. There's some stuff going on in the headset. You can see him saying, I can't hear, right? I don't know what's going on. I can't hear. They're trying to really fake out the defense here. And A&M still giving signals, not really seemingly ready. Again, still Dallas. I don't know what's going on. We're all standing up over here. This is Florida's version of trying to catch them off guard, except these guys caught off guard, right? Now with the Ole Miss play, we saw they ran a dig route, and they ran someone off on the safety, and they had a nice open receiver right here. Well, Florida's going to try to take, of course, the easiest, simplest, safest throw, one where they're already out leveraged 3-on-2 on this side of the field. And yes, he's not looking, but again, A&M was well prepared to stop this exact screen earlier. The Gators already have seen that on film. They already know they're ready for it. There's your snap, and then here we go. Right on hike, they read the same thing, do the same exact thing as they did before, but now they can really bust it over here because they have a safety on their side. If that route comes back over here, it's getting covered up. So they are all over this just by formation, and that play is absolutely dead on arrival. Makes him miss. He feels bad about himself, but that's why you've got 3-on-2. You got 3-on-2 right there. So Florida tries to go with, I'm looking at the sideline, my headset's not working, things aren't great. They pick up 8 yards, which I guess to some is a victory, but on 3rd down and 10, you need 10 yards. The goal is not to get some of it. A&M's perfectly happy to give you 8 yards in almost every one of those situations, unless it's the end of the game when you need to get down to 4th and 2 or so. They're going to give you that, and then you're going to punt 99% of the time, right? They're going to get off the field, keep it safe. So Florida attempts a gadgety pre-snap play, goes for a screen they run all the time. A&M, even though they weren't ready, still ready, makes a stop. Each and every week, it does bring me great joy to highlight some of the individual players on Florida's team. And of course, 13 just puts excellent stuff on film each and every week. And here he goes again. Largely hero balling this. So Florida has cover one previously. They take a shot down the field. And now A&M says, hey, we are loading the box. And Billy says, yeah, cool, 1st and 10. We're going to run right into that box. We're good. We believe in our guys, right? And this play is just absolutely destroyed. We're pulling George. We've already got penetration in the exact gap that Florida's trying to clear. Now, we're trying to run over here, but you want to clear this first, so right, you can get into the hole. And now Ball gets the ball, has to slam on the brakes. Ball with the ball, slamming on the brakes. Got a defender right here in his face in the backfield. No worries, I'll make that guy miss. And now, thankfully, A&M a little bit too overzealous, right? Over pursuing to this area because they get a little jailbreak. Losing discipline here on the edge. And now, this is in play. There's your pulling guard. Sweet big hole now. He's eating it, right? Because the first guy's never going to bring down Jaden Ball. Neither is this guy who takes a crack at him. He's not going to bring down Jaden Ball. Again, these guys have seen the film. They know. They're like, man, I know this dude's hard. It's my turn to get him. And now he's thinking, this is it. I've watched this. I saw this last week. I saw Jaden Ball take a guy's soul, make him want to quit football. I've watched him do it all week long. It's not going to be me. I've been in the weight room hitting reps extra hard this week. I'm going to make sure that I put 13 down so I don't wind up on the GNFP highlight film. I'm already kind of falling, and then, right here. I might wind up on a GNFP highlight film. I've seen this before. It does not end well. And now I don't know where I am. All I see is grass. I'm moving fast. I saw some white and now some grass. And I'm trying to recover. I don't want to be on the GNFP highlight film. I'm trying to say, no. I'm on the film. He knows it. Right here, he knows it. He's like, oh yeah. Yeah, he's in the film review. His soul leaving his body right now, right? He's going up. He's going up into heaven right there. His football soul leaving him, rolling, and then for good measure, to make it way worse on this highlight film, Jaden Ball's like, let me add some more style to this. Since you've put yourself on this already, let's just go ahead and hurdle you for good measure. Insult to injury, I'm going to hurdle you. And again, this guy's got his hand on his back because he's like, bro, this dude, every week, every single week, man, this guy, he's just taking people's football souls. He's baptizing them each and every week. He has no mercy on anyone out here. 13 just, it is hard to bring this guy down. I mean, he treats really good college players as if they're, freshman players in high school. Dude is just absolutely excellent at breaking tackles. Second down and goal now. Dallas Wilson one-on-one. A&M loading the box. You got a hanger defender here who's really watching the tight end or the running back, right? Assigned here. One-on-one matchup. All this beautiful end zone to work here with. Run whatever route you want. Florida's going to choose to run a outside release. Call this a fade stop, if you will. So not really truly what I would consider to be a fade stop, at least how I would normally run it. But definitely going to be a underneath throw on an outside release route where if the defender goes high and takes away the top side, throw it low, defender undercuts, throw it over the top, right? A two-way throw here, one-on-one. Really great concept when you're like this, especially when you get the chance, as you can see Dallas here. He's lined up right well inside the numbers. He's got a full route tree available to him. You know you're going to have help on the inside, but you know you're going to be one-on-one anything out here. And that's why this combo is, or this route, singular route, is a good route because it does give you a two-way option, which really doesn't allow the corner to be right. You're asking the corner to do a lot on this play. This does require a good throw from your QB and a good patient read. Right away, Lagway sees that he's taking the top side here. He's controlling top side, and he's not looking, which means that he cannot see where Lagway is going to throw the football. Let's go ahead and put this ball behind him. And it's perfect, right? As he turns to locate the ball, now we have leverage and we have all of the space right here. Perfectly executed. It winds up essentially becoming a post pass in basketball, just a longer one. But if he wants to stay on top and your receiver does the right thing, and a physical receiver like Dallas Wilson will, and seals this off, right? Seals all that off, then it's really just him. As a quarterback, that's really all you see. You just see your guy because he can't do anything about it. He's erased out of the play. You can't step in here. You trust your receiver to box him out, and you're good. Put the ball in front, and you've got yourself a tutty, and there it is. And there's a great catch again by Dallas. So Florida on the board answering. I like that route in that situation, especially with a guy like Dallas who you know is not going to let that DB come through him or underneath him. And obviously, again, Lagway's got to make sure he reads that correctly, which he does. Florida on the board, now 14-14 in the first quarter. Third down and 12, and we are back to the dry erase board yet again. All right, so we just saw A&M is well aware of one of Florida's best players, Jaden Ball. They're not just simply going to leave him. Well, check this out here from the Gators. Let's just go ahead and send him into the backfield again. We're going to just send him on a little flat route out here. It's third down and 12. Keep in mind, third down and 12. Zone defense from A&M, keeping eyes in the backfield. Eyes in the backfield. Linebackers here head up aware. What exactly are the Gators hoping for here? So you've got Slaughter, Florida's best offensive lineman, a skilled quality offensive lineman, and we are now counting on him to take the weak side linebacker here and get a block on him. That's what we're counting on, right? Except again, Florida's offense, not tricky, not confusing. Teams read our mail each and every week. Perhaps if you were totally unsure of what was about to happen, you wouldn't see this happen. But look. I mean, come on. You can't help but laugh. We have three linemen who are all hoping desperately to block him, and him, right? That's the hope. This guy's an unblocked man by design. That's okay. That's the hope. And we got three guys. Are they getting there? Is this happening on third down and 12? Look at this. We've ambitiously got our receivers blocking way downfield because on third and 12, we're about to hit a tutty on this play. I'm about to take this thing to the crib, right? There's no chance they're going to stop us. They're never going to see this coming. All right, cool. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. Line of scrimmage. Third and 12. Three receivers down the field blocking. Three linemen, they can't get anyone. Slaughter's at least fleet-footed enough to have separated himself from these two. But, I mean, what? Dry erase board. What are we thinking? What are we hoping for? What do we think our team's personnel is capable of doing on third down and 12? All right, Florida's weathered A&M's early storm. They're in this game down 7 heading into halftime with the ball now on the 50-yard line after a 9-yard run. 2 timeouts left, 2nd and 1. You've got everything available to you here. 2nd-and-1 is one of the highest EV plays in all of football. A more aggressive, offensive-minded coach takes a chance here. And in fact, Elko essentially shows you that he understands it's a high EV situation. He's got 2 high here, wants to play it safe, does not like the situation, is not going to throw all of his chips into the table with a 7-2 offsuit in this situation, right? But Billy Napier is like, cool, 2nd down and 1. You know what I like to do? I see a 6-man box. Let me just try and pick up, 1 yard. Maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 yards would be ideal. And then there it is, right? A missed EV opportunity here. Florida does get a 1st down. There's tons of time here. We've got tons of time to move down and score a touchdown. You can run it on 2nd-and-1, but just a missed opportunity there, right? Football-wise, you live for those situations because you have the defense in a scenario where they cannot typically know your tendencies, and Florida just takes the lowest EV route there. Florida driving, finally, in field goal range here, right? Plus side of the football field here. 3rd down and 8, another bad down in distance. Down 10 points. What does Billy Napier queue up on the Billy Napier play sheet here? Maybe we're only down 10. Perhaps we can be down 7. Wouldn't that be great? Instead of maybe trying to go for more, let's just hand the ball off. But here's what's great. 7-man box from A&M. A&M is playing the run here. They're playing very aggressively against the run, and they are essentially daring you to pass yet again, right? They're saying, look, we just don't think you can pass. Go ahead and run the ball. And they are all over this play. Let's look and see where Jaden Ball is going to go. Free runner right here through the B gap. Jaden Ball's like, great. Got to be another guy in the backfield. That happens 50% of the time in this offense. And we've got this junk absolutely locked up. But don't worry, because Jaden Ball will do what Jaden Ball does. As long as there's not an armada to get him, if it's just one-on-one, bingo. Just absolutely makes a free runner unblocked through the B gap whiff, and whiff enough that he can still get out of there and now wiggle his way. Look, we're 2 yards down the field right here. Wiggle his way into the pile, keep the legs driving, all the way to where he picks up 6 yards, setting up a 4th down and short. Now you would think maybe the king of 2-downers, Billy Napier, might think about going here down 10 on 4th and 2, but he says instead, nah, I just want that field goal to bring myself within 1 score. 3rd down and 8, run play. A&M is sitting all over it for a TFL. Ball heroically turns something into nothing, as we've seen him do all season long. Puts Florida in a 4th and short, where eventually Trey Smack knocks through 3, and Florida is down just 1 score. 3rd and 13 now, after a plethora of penalties and weird stuff that goes on, including a pretty ticky-tacky foul, I think, on Dallas Wilson off the sideline. Florida set up in yet another 3rd down and long. Right now, the good news is Florida's not going to hand the ball off here, and they're not going to run a screen. They are going to try something else. Let's see how it works. 4-man rush, escapes the pocket, and throws the ball away. Not too exciting there. Of course, you can't see anything from that angle, so let me show you what it looks like when you can actually see the field. All right, 3rd and 13, the play we just showed you. You're the quarterback. You're DJ here. Where do you go with the football? Who are you going to throw this football to, right? You know these are your routes. Here, over route here, little in route here. That's what you got. Take a look at the posture of the dropper on this side. Notice how he's walling off the inside already. We're not even outside the numbers, by the way, right? Totally viable to run something outside the numbers here. Now, it is 3rd and 13. This would be a long throw, but you could obviously set up here even like a post corner and give yourself the space, or even a post out route, right? Set this up. But he's going to wall off the inside. Let's look at that first. Okay, well, dead. Not going to happen there. And forget about what's going on in the backfield. Just let's go ahead and look. Let's rewind now. So that's gone. We know that's gone. That's cooked. Here's your over route. Under trailer here, center safety here, awaiting safety here. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure where you're going with that one, right? I mean, he's just getting depth to be extra safe because he's feeling really spicy. Like, hey, we're good here. Like, I've got that passed off. Now I'll go here in case he tries to get KG there. I'll keep my eye on the 2 here. Like, I mean, we're good. Here's a check down. That's locked up. All right, let's rewind it one more time. And then here comes your drag route. And, he's got eyes on the drag. Eyes on the drag. He's ahead of the drag. He's maintaining his distance. Here's your guy behind. Where do you want to go on this play? What are you going to do? Who are you going to throw the ball to? How are you going to convert? You're probably going to do this. Roll out and just throw the ball away. 3rd down and 6 now. Florida still down 1 score, still trying to survive in this game. And one of the problems with not lining up earlier is that you're going to get into your action of your play, a little motion here, with just 3 seconds left on the play clock. Because pre-snap right now, the way this looks is it looks like, right, this could be cover 1. It could even be a 0 look because he's getting pretty cagey. But you've got 3 seconds left. Now you're going to get into the little motion of your play. And now for sure, he's all the way up in the fit, loading the box, right? And now 2, 1. Now this looks like down here you absolutely have 0. Highly unlikely any safety is going to be here. Of course, he could still drop back, but you definitely have one-on-one for anything you want. Imagining they're single high, you still got that. Now up top here, with the depth they have, they could obviously get into a fit where they're going to 3-on-2 this. But here you definitely have got one-on-one for anything you want to the outside part of this field, and you might have 0, right? You might have 0, but you've got 1 second left. You got 1 second left. Doesn't really matter now they're showing this. You couldn't even communicate that if you wanted to. There's no way to get into this. Florida's just going to get this play off as it is. And of course, it's going to be a handoff, which means that A&M was confident enough on 3rd down and 6 that Florida was likely to view this as a 2-downer as they did before. And they're going to go ahead and load this junk up, bring their safety into the box, keep eyes on here, go 3-on-2 here and 1-on-1 here. And again, that's Dallas. 1-on-1 the entire football field on 3rd down and 6, but they say, look, they want to run the ball, and we're going to make sure they don't get it this time. Bringing up a 4th down and 6 for the Gators now. Whole 4th quarter left, only down 1 score. The defense has not allowed an actual point on their end for their own accounting since early in the 2nd quarter. Now on this particular play, Florida is going to get what looks to be a favorable passing look. Of course, you're playing in the NFL. You thirst for a moment like this, where you're going to get 2-on-2 down here. Now, you're probably not thirsting for this Hansen matched up down here. Probably not a matchup that you love. But you're definitely going to take VB3 here, which looks to be on a safety. Just like the previous play, though, he could easily get into the pass fit, and they would play 3v2 here. In fact, I think you should expect that, given they just did it in a similar look previously. But down here, you could expect entirely man-to-man, and this is going to be Trey with absolutely no safety home to help out here, and a whole bunch of grass to run a route on. Florida is going to open up and check here first, but what do you think Trey is running? Cover 0, no safety, nobody there. He's going to run a little hitch pivot, just a short little pivot route right here. Would you expect anything else from the Gators in that situation? Probably not, right? Just an immediate quick hitter. You know it, I know it, and A&M knew it. Set up for that play. Not going to be there. Now, we are going to make sure we try to bring ball over here as an excellent pass protector to help shore up the edge, which he's going to do. We are running a very good man route here with VB3. One that we have talked about the channel all season long and previous years as well is to run this crossing route. The reason that you typically want to run a route like this is you can run it at any depth. If he walls you off to the inside like this and he stays essentially low, then you simply run over the top of him and you're going to speed route this over to this area of the field. If he wants to wind up taking the top side of this route, then you're going to undercut this and speed rut it more shallow. Either way, it's going to work. It gives you essentially a 2-way option to beat him, and VB3 is going to absolutely win on this route. He gets him flat-footed, goes over the top, turns the corner, and he's going to be wide open. Now DJ is going to fade away here. He gets some pressure. We lose the battle right here. He gets some pressure. He's going to fade away on this throw. Mechanics are just poor here, right? These are poor mechanics. Fade away. Don't set. Yes, I know you've got a guy in your face, right? It's brutal. I mean, I get it. I get it too. There's a guy in your face on most throws you're making. Right foot hits the ground. You'd love to have a pocket to step up into, but that's not the world we live in with this offensive line, which is darn right offensive. And now we're going to fade away, throw backwards, get nothing on this, which is a shame because VB3 has won. You can see that he's swimming the freestyle stroke right here. Take a look. He's in the Olympics trying to swim. It's grainy, but he's trying to kind of catch back up to this. He's not in position, right? And VB3's got him. He's got him around the edge here. This ball's put out in front. It's probably going to be a touchdown. And that's why this is such an excellent route, right? The Y crosser is typically what it's going to be called in this situation, is such an excellent route because you can often score touchdowns with your quickest slot receiver and a favorable matchup on a very easy throw. Florida gets some pressure. VB3 cannot come down with that. And that's going to wind up stopping that play dead in its tracks. Again, Florida did not need to go for this on 4th down and 6 in this situation, given how the offense was playing, given how they converted exactly 1 third down in this game. Did it make a lot of sense to go for this 4th down and 6 in this situation, even for someone that's very aggressive like me? Definitely not. Not if I'm on the headset telling Napier what to do, because you know that Napier is not especially skilled at picking these kind of plays up anyway. Your defense has been playing well. Go ahead and punt. Put some more game pressure on them and wait for a better opportunity. Of course, you might not get one. You're Florida's offense, right? But this is a pretty hurtful experience here. Florida at least does run a good route with VB3, but the protection does not hold up, and it all goes for naught. Here's one more look at this play, just so you can see VB3. It's hard to see on the other angle just how open he gets on this crosser, but there's the quick in cut, right? Sell the in cut to get the depth, and then eventually take the in cut anyway. You're trying to cross him, maximal speed. He's set up to wall off the inside, get him to climb upfield with you, which he does, and then turn the corner. And there he is. Perfect route by VB3. If you can imagine DJ either sidestepping here, which would have been ideal, right? Sidestep here across your block. Take one sidestep, clear space to get the ball into this window. You might have a tutty. But instead, we elect the fadeaway throw here with traffic coming into his face. And look, film review is always a display of what should be perfect, right? You don't expect any quarterback at any level to always be perfect. But if you're rolling the film with 2 right now, you're saying, look, pocket presence, it's tough, right? You don't know where they're coming from or when they're coming from or how they're getting to you. They're constantly in there almost every single game. But ideally here, as the game slows down more for you, you want to be sliding, finding a window, and finding a way to deliver, right? That's what you want to work on if you're 2. And right here, slide, create that step. You've got to win here, slide and create that step. Then if you do, VB3 has 1. He is not going to catch him, right? You put this ball out here, he's got leverage on the safety, and he's got leverage on his coverage man, and this could be a touchdown. Could be a touchdown, right? Could be a big play. Lots of space. This is an ideal throw for a quarterback. Nobody in your way here. Not ideal when you're fading with a guy in your face, of course. And now you're going to watch VB3 have to pull up on this right here. Stop, go backwards, try to get it, right? But that could have been a much, much bigger play. Unfortunately, we have pressure. DJ does not slide left. We miss an opportunity. Ball falls incomplete. A&M ball, to where they would then go on to have a 500-minute drive to effectively run the clock out and win the game for all practical purposes. All right, last play of the game. Let's put this film review to bed. Florida takes another L here on the road. Billy Napier is yet to beat a bowl-eligible team on the road his entire career at Florida. But of course, after the game, he said we're close. There's still a process. His definition of close, I think, is far different than I would hope the rest of ours when it comes to success at this university. Either way, here's Lagway. Just check it down. VB3. You know what? For good measure, just run out of bounds, because really can't win. Not enough points on that one touchdown anyway. Don't get hurt. Just get out of there. Get back home. Regroup. We get it right here. We understand it right here. Right? This is the feeling. Just a little clap. Yep. Man, darn. Didn't see that coming. Oh, wait, we all saw this coming. Not a surprise, right? Still frustrating. Obviously not where we want to be as a university. But I will still be with you each and every week until the end of the season. So as always, let me know what comments you may have for me, what you want to see, what you don't want to see. If you don't want to see any more film reviews this year, just let me know, right? I'm here in the studio for you guys, producing content that I hope you want to see. So you let me know, and I'll go ahead and create what I can for you. As always, thanks for joining me on this film review. And until next week, go Gators.